Did your specialty in the military put you at an increased risk of radiation exposure? If so, you may be an atomic veteran. My name is Zack Evans. I'm a VA disability benefits attorney with Woods & Woods Attorneys in Evansville, Indiana. We're a nationwide law firm that represents veterans in VA disability cases. We've discussed in several videos the dangers and impacts of different kinds of toxic exposures. Most of those have related to chemical exposure. I want to pivot now to a different type of exposure, and that's nuclear radiation. I have a personal link to this topic as my grandfather served in the Marines in the South Pacific. The last part of his combat tour was in Nagasaki after the United States dropped the second atomic bomb. He died of cancer in 2006. Occupational forces in Japan at the end of the Second World War were not the only service members that were exposed to radiation. POWs in Japan, test site workers in the Nevada desert, and on a myriad number of atolls in the Pacific were at an elevated risk. Underground testing was done on Amchitka Island, Alaska. Veterans who served there until the end of 1973 were at an elevated risk as well. Veterans who spent at least 250 days before February 1st, 1992 at gaseous diffusion plants in Paducah, Kentucky, Portsmouth, Ohio, or K-25 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, are also considered atomic veterans. Atomic veterans are entitled to presumptive service connection for cancers of the bile duct, bone, brain, breast, colon, esophagus, gallbladder, and liver, but not if cirrhosis or Hep B is present, pancreas, pharynx, ovary, salivary gland, small intestine, stomach, thyroid, urinary tract, including kidney, pelvis, bladder, and urethra, leukemia, excluding chronic lymphocytic, lymphomas, excluding Hodgkin's, and multiple myeloma. That's a lot of ailments that are presumptively service-connected to that type of service and that type of atomic exposure. If you're an atomic vet and have endured one of these conditions, your cancer is to be service-connected on a presumptive basis. If you're a surviving spouse, your loved one's cause of death is presumed related to service. Other conditions which are not subject to presumptive service connection but can still be proven with a medical nexus are other types of cancers not previously listed: non-malignant thyroid nodular disease, parathyroid adenoma, posterior subcapsular cataracts, tumors of the brain, and central nervous system. These can be won as well, but the connection is not presumed, so a professional medical opinion will be necessary. Also, this is not an exhaustive list. You just have to make sure there is a scientific link between exposure and your condition. One of the more interesting cases that I worked in relation to radiation exposure was for the widow of a former X-ray technician. We combed his file for his assignment dates and for his approximate number of X-rays that he did in a given amount of time. We multiplied that by the amount of time that he spent in service, and we were able to come up with a range of possible dosage amounts. We supplied that range to an oncologist who was able to finally tailor the rationale for his medical report based on what this veteran's particular dosage amounts were. And that was the difference in this veteran's case. The reason this is important is because so many veterans who have been exposed to atomic radiation are now in advanced age, and that genetic damage that was done to them over time has gotten worse and is proliferating. This is the cause of their cancer. If you have experienced a cancer of this sort, or if your loved one has and you've lost them, give us a call. We'd love to help you.